In today's video, I show how I photograph a magical little waterfall tucked away in the forest. The waterfalls I found are hidden in the forests around Loch Lomond, a stunning part of the Scottish countryside about an hour and a half drive from Edinburgh. The weather was good when I visited early one morning, and I was able to snag some tranquil shots on the shore of a lake while the morning mist was still hanging around. I didn't go with the intention of doing a lot of photography, but I had my Sony RX1R with me, which is very compact, so it's great for just chucking in a bag on the off chance that a good shot shows its head. I've done another video recently on the benefits of going out with a minimal amount of kit and how it can help you really focus on your compositions rather than focusing on what gear to use. I think today is another example of how well that can work. The waterfalls themselves might not really be what you'd consider proper waterfalls. They're not huge torrents cascading down cliffs like you'd see elsewhere in Scotland. They're really just streams bubbling over some rock. But the shot really stood out to me. I like the way the water gently flows over the rocks with the ferns on either side of the stream, and I even like this branch that's fallen across. I tried a few different compositions, but I knew that I wanted my camera to be basically in the water so that the stream flows towards the camera. This way we get a good view of both the fall in the foreground and that smaller fall you can see further upstream. I used a circular polarizer to take a bit of the glare out of the shot, but crucially I didn't want to get rid of all of it. Fully polarizing the scene takes all of the light out of the water and as a result losing a lot of the detail. I also used a 6-stop neutral density filter to let me achieve a slow shutter speed of around 3 seconds when shooting at f5. I like the shot as a portrait image with these rocks and leaves in the foreground, but I also like it in a landscape orientation, bringing in this larger rock on the left. Slightly further downstream, I came to another mini fall that caught my eye. I love the water cascading onto these bigger boulders, so I moved around to find this composition that includes the moss-covered rocks in the foreground. The edits on these images were fairly straightforward. I knew I wanted to create a more dreamlike fantasy feel, as these tucked away falls made the area feel like some kind of fairy glen I'd stumbled into. I warmed the scene up and adjusted the colour hues, did some selective dodging and burning to enhance the light in the scene, and applied the Orton effect to give a softer look. The Orton effect is easy to do but can make a huge difference in this sort of image. To do it, duplicate your layer in Photoshop and apply a levels adjustment that really ups the contrast. Then add a Gaussian blur to that layer so that it looks, well, very blurred. Finally, bring the opacity down to 0 and then slowly increase it until you have the effect you want. It's very easy to overdo it with this effect, and I usually find that around 8% is enough. As you can see, it's given a softer, hazy look to the image that really adds to that dreamlike look I was going for. It's a technique that's well worth experimenting with, particularly in woodland scenes like this, when the sometimes harsh detail of high-resolution cameras can make every tiny twig, leaf and bit of bark seem too sharp in the scene. I'm really pleased with these 3 images overall, particularly because I didn't set out with the intention of getting them. It really goes to show the importance of keeping your eye out wherever you're going, as you never know if you'll suddenly spot a composition that you want to capture. Carrying a smaller camera or even a good phone camera means you can always be ready to get the shot when you spot it. Hopefully this has all been helpful information, and if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button and definitely consider subscribing if you don't already, and I will see you next time.